Hey guys, if you're a stroke survivor or brain injury survivor, then I'm going to talk about wrist exercises that you can do, some active movement exercises that you can do at home without any special equipment, and even if you have very little strength, you can actually take part in these exercises. So all you're going to need is a chair with a backrest, a table where you can rest your forearm, and a towel just to help you with the exercises. Welcome to Basically Physio. My name is Suresh and I'm a physiotherapist. So for all of these exercises, I want you to do in a calm, seated environment whereby you're not so stressed. And also I want you to do about 10 to 20 repetitions, 3 sets every day. So before we do the exercises, if you are facing a lot of tightness in your hands, then I want you to really watch this video here that I'm linking up. And this video is going to explain to you how you can stretch your arm out before doing this exercise, because if your hands are tight, then you won't be able to do these exercises that I'm showing in this video effectively. So we're going to start off with the wrist flexion extension. It is this up and down movement of the wrist. And before you do it, I just want you to rest your forearm on the tabletop like this, just so that you can relax your wrists and fingers. So if you realize, if you just rest your wrist over the edge of the table, your fingers will start to loosen and you'll start to get some range in your wrist and finger movements. Okay, so the first variation is going to require a lot of muscle strength, and this is the upward movement of the wrist like this. Okay, so just rest your wrist over the edge of the table and bring it up and down as slowly as you can. You don't have to achieve all the way up, just do it as much as you can and gently lower it down. Okay, so this is a hard version because you're really going against gravity. So I'm going to show you in a while the simpler variations. Okay, so this is your wrist extension, and you just turn your wrist the other way and do your wrist flexion. Okay, this is your wrist flexion. Same thing, you're going against gravity up, so this is going to be a little bit more difficult and challenging for you if you're starting to be weak at the beginning. So for the variation of this exercise, whereby if you are very weak to begin with, then you want to put a towel like this on the tabletop and you're going to do a wrist flexion extension, but in this position whereby your thumb is pointing upwards. What you're going to do is just slide using the towel, just bend it up and down like this. Okay, this is going to be a bit more easier because there's no friction on the table, and also your wrist is not against gravity. This is what we call a gravity eliminated position. So just go up and down like this. Okay, so what if you do not have any power at all? Then I'm going to show you some tips that you can use. First, I really want you to look at your wrist when you're doing this exercise and imagine your wrist moving. Second, using a stronger hand, I want you to grab the towel on one of the edge. So we are going to do a wrist flexion first. So it's a concurrent movement. What I want you to do is grab the edge of the towel and pull towards you. At the same time, I want you to flex your wrist, look at your wrist and flex it down. It may not look perfect like this for you, but it's okay. I just want you to get into this movement, think about it, and use your stronger hand to actually pull the towel so that your wrist starts to move. As long as you just imagine this movement, that is actually good enough already. Okay? Now for the wrist extension, it's a little bit more tricky. I want you to go to the other side, like this, and pull it towards, away from your body. So pull the towel away from the body using your stronger hand, and also looking at your wrist, I just want you to extend your wrist like this. Okay? You don't have to do it nicely, just a simple movement will do. Even if you just get flicker of movements, that is actually good enough already. So just pull it like this. If you find this video valuable, do consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. The next exercise is called wrist side deviations. It's basically a side-to-side movement. We call it the ulnar deviation and the radial deviation. Okay, so for the most hardest version of this exercise, you just want to rest your wrist on the tabletop and hang it over the edge of the table. And in this position, just move your wrist side to side. So as you're moving your wrist from side to side, what you're doing is actually maintaining it in the neutral position. That means gravity is already acting on your hand down here, so it's going to be difficult. And then move it to the side like this. If you're not able to maintain here, it's fine. Even if it's hanging, just doing a side-to-side movement is also good enough. So remember to do it for about 10 to 20 repetitions on each side, 3 sets. You can rest about 1 to 2 minutes between each of the sets. So once again, if your wrist is actually very tight to begin with, then watch the previous exercise video that I have shared, and I'm also going to link it up on the top right hand corner of this video here. So for a simpler version of this wrist side deviations, you want to put a towel on the tabletop similar to the previous exercise, and on this towel, rest your wrist and just move it side to side. So your wrist is no longer hanging over the edge, it is fully rested on the table and just moving from side to side like this. So once again, it's going to reduce the friction on the tabletop and it's going to be a bit more easier for you to do, especially when your muscles are weak. Okay. As you're doing this, make sure your shoulder and elbow is remaining still and do not move your shoulder and elbow to get this movement. Just focus it on your wrist and just focus it on the side to side movements. So if you do not have any power at all, then similarly to the previous exercise, I want you to use your stronger hand, okay, coming onto the edge of the towel here. As you're moving towards your body, just look at your wrist and imagine moving this direction while pulling the towel towards you. And come back and do it 10 to 20 times for 3 sets. So use the towel, use your stronger hand to pull towards you to simulate the movement. And in the same time, you're looking at your wrist and imagining your wrist moving in that direction. If you see any flickers happening, then it's actually quite good. Just continue and just do these repetitions again and again and again. So now coming to the other side, okay, so just pull the towel away from the body and repeat. As you're doing these exercises, I want you to share with me one positive recovery lesson that you have learned along the years, and do share in the comment section below. Now coming to the last exercise, it is basically a wrist or forearm pronation and supination. Pronation is this and supination is opening your palm to face upwards. So for the more challenging version, just rest your elbow on the table, your forearm is lifted off the ground. Then you just want to do a full range of movement, opening and closing your hand like this. This is a bit more challenging. Okay, for the simpler version, just rest your entire forearm on a tabletop, okay, and point your thumb upwards this way. And in this position, you're already halfway in a center position. Just close your wrist. Just focus on closing your wrist like this. This is for the pronation portion. Close your wrist down. And for the supination portion, from a center position like this, just open your wrist like this. So if you can imagine, for both of these movements, you're starting from the center and allowing gravity to assist you to complete the movement. So this should be a bit more easier for you. If you have difficulty going back, that's fine. Just use your stronger hand to position your wrist and hand like this in your thumb up position, and then restart and go down like this. So use your stronger hand to reset, and supinate is going outwards. So once again, do not move your shoulder, because sometimes when you move your shoulder, you can get a similar movement like this, but it's not working on the muscles that we want to work on. So just do it slowly and gently. If there's any pain in any of these exercises, stop doing it and have a rest. Don't force your exercise till you have pain. That is not going to be beneficial for you. We've come to the end of the video, and if you want to watch more exercise video, especially for your legs and your trunk, then here are some of the videos that will be beneficial for you. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.